And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gents. This is boy Casanova from Orlando, Florida, on this awesome and international podcast, Good Wine and Great Laughs, Season 9, Episode number 4, ladies and gents. And today is Saturday, August the 24th, 2024, and the weather here in Orlando will be with some variable clouds with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Highs of 89 degrees, lows of 75, ladies and gents. And before I start talking about the topic of the day, ladies and gents, I gotta talk about the wine of the day here at Casa Casanova. And today I have this wine from Washington State. It's called the Perimeter, but they have two types. So today, there's the blue circle lay right there. Here it's called the Perimeter right here. This one here is the Sweet Riesling. And also the one that have the red one is just the Riesling. So I would guess that this is a little bit sweeter than the other one, but we're going to discuss that later. So according to the label in the back, it states right here the Perimeter Sweet Riesling, Washington State, handcraft to push the boundaries of wine making. Perimeter wines reflect bold flavors and bright fruits, perfect for food, pairing, and everyday entertaining. Our sweet Riesling opens with inviting aromas of honeysuckle and ripe peach, leading to a palate of juice, apricot, and apple notes, finishing long with a delightful sweetness and incorporate acidity. Enjoy chilled. Once again, this wine is from Walla Walla, Washington State. The alcohol percent of this wine is only 10%, ladies and gents. Excuse me. And maybe the next week or the week after, I will have the other one. So you can have a comparison between these two wines for the same brand. So let's see what this wine is all about. Definitely love the aroma. The nose of this wine is very good. Ladies and gents, this wine is a 10. It's a very, very, very tasty, very delicious, sweet Riesling, and it's not too sweet at all. For me, as far the level of sweetness, is perfect. It's perfect. I definitely give a 10 for this wine, and definitely I will keep this wine bottle. I'm gonna get another one, but I'll keep this wine. This wine make a spot on my wine collection, ladies and gents. Very, very good wine. Excuse me. As you know, for those that are new to my YouTube channel, ladies and gents, if you look at my social medias, I have two right here listed on this channel. I have every Saturday you're going to see a nice picture of this wine bottle. So if you like to decide to look for this wine, go to my social medias. Also on my LinkedIn with the same name of the podcast, you will find out all the pictures of today's wine, as well all the previous wine that I had on this podcast before, ladies and gents. So today's topic is the 2024 Democratic National Convention highlights, ladies and gents. You're going to see a series of videos. This wine right here. Let's watch a couple videos, and at the end of all those videos, I will give you my 2 cents, what I think. And the reason I have my Obama shirt, this Obama shirt I bought in 2008 when Obama was running for the office for the first time. And this is my good luck charm when it comes to election. Listen, every time after 2008, on every election, and I wore this shirt right here, good things happen. Democrats win big time. So that's why now I'm about to get a Kamala Harris shirt for election week. As soon as start the early voting here in Florida, I definitely will have my shirt from Kamala Harris. But for now, this, like I said, is my good luck charm for this election that I believe she's going to win big time. So let's roll some videos and I'll be back. You know what I do. It is showtime. Let's go, Jasmine.
Well, good evening, America! On November 5th, our nation will hire a president, a commander-in-chief, and leader of the free world. So let's compare their resumes, shall we? One candidate worked at McDonald's while she was in college at an HBCU. HU. The other was born with a silver spoon in his mouth and helped his daddy in the family business. Housing discrimination, that is. She became a career prosecutor while he became a career criminal. With 34 felonies, 2 impeachments, and 1 porn star to prove it.
The shade!
Her entire career as an elected district attorney, attorney general, and senator, she's always worked for one client, the people. Meanwhile, he's a 78-year-old, lifelong predator, fraudster, and cheat, known for inciting violent mobs. Listen, y'all, he's only looked out for one person, himself. As women are dying, he is bragging about overturning Roe. And y'all know I come from Texas. And right now in Texas, come on, Texas. But right now in Texas, they want to institute the death penalty. That is a problem. While Kamala Harris is fighting for our reproductive rights to be restored. She is also the leader we need on the global stage. She helped secure the release of Americans wrongfully detained in Russia. At the same time, he cozies up to his role model, Vladimir Putin, and MAGA holds legislation hostage here at home, critical resources to secure the border, military aid to Ukraine, and even the Farm Bill. She's lived the American dream while he's been America's nightmare.
Exactly.
America, looking at the 2 choices before you, who would you hire? Donald Trump or Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris has a resume. Donald Trump has a rap sheet. She presides over the Senate while he keeps our national secrets next to his thinking chair. Y'all know what I said that other time. In Mar-a-Lago. While Donald Trump wants to put our 1787 Constitution through his Project 2025 paper shredder and make every day January 6th, Kamala Harris is fighting to fulfill the promise of America. In the real world, this wouldn't even be close. But this election is. Don't make a mistake. We are the underdogs in this fight, even though there is only one person qualified, only one person who's done the work and who has delivered the results. And she needs you. She needs your one vote this November. Can we count on you? Some of you know a little bit of my history, some of you don't, so let me tell you. I was a public defender. I did criminal defense as well as practiced civil rights law for almost 2 decades. I know a good prosecutor when I see one. Kamala Harris is the kind of prosecutor we long for in the cases like those of Breonna Taylor. Yeah. She was the first attorney general in the nation to order that her officers wear body cams, and she started the Back on Track program to reduce recidivism. Listen, y'all, she did all these things because she genuinely cares about people. She sees each person as just that, a person, not a statistic. She's proven that since the first day she stepped into a courtroom and said what y'all already heard Hillary say, I did not copy out for her speech. I just want y'all to know. She walked into that courtroom and said, Kamala Harris for the people. And she meant that. Many of you know her credentials, but what I love about Kamala Harris goes beyond her resume, is that she sees the humanity in everyone. She's the only candidate in this race who is capable of empathy. When I first got to Congress, I wasn't sure I made the right decision. The Chaos Caucus couldn't elect a speaker, and the Oversight Committee was unhinged. I was going through all of this when I visited the Vice President's residence for the first time. As I approached Vice President Harris for our official photo, she turned to me and asked, "What's wrong?" Mind you, we'd never met, but she saw right through me. She saw the distress. I immediately began crying. And the most powerful woman in the world wiped my tears and listened. It's so hard for me to tell this story. She then said, among other things, "You are exactly where God wants you. Your district chose you because they believe in you, and so do I." Right, I'm gonna stop, okay. The next month, I went viral for the first of many times to come for hitting Republicans with a dose of their own medicine. That brief but impactful interaction gave me my legislative legs, and I've been running ever since.
Keep going, Clara.
The question before us is, will a vindictive, vile villain violate voters' vision iterations are back in style. We deserve better. We deserve a president who can be a bright light in a sea of darkness. One who will pull us forward, because we won't go back.
Exactly.
Amanda Gorman said it best. There's always light if only we are brave enough to see it. If only we are brave enough to be it. Kamala Harris showed me that light. And America, when she is our president, together we will shine as that beacon of hope and freedom around the world once more. God bless y'all.
Georgia, how do you cast your votes?
Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, we are here tonight to officially nominate Kamala Harris for president. Five, get loud, another round of shots. DHC,
Turn out for what? Go!
turn out for what? Hey, turn out for what? Yeah! Turn out for what? Let's go, let's go! Turn out for what? Hey, everybody get your hands up! Hey, everybody get your hands up! Hey, everybody get your hands up! Now, say, we're not going back!
We're not going back! We're not going back! We're not going back!
VP Harris! Come to the wall! VP Harris! Give it a wall! Hey! Georgia's in the building.
Mr. Secretary, the South's got something to say. I'm Congresswoman Nikema Williams, Chairwoman of the Democratic Party of Georgia. Georgia, the home of President Jimmy Carter, the cradle of the Civil Rights Movement, where we fight for our freedom. Extremists in Georgia are trying to silence our voices by kicking Georgians off of the rolls and making it harder to vote. But y'all, when we send Kamala Harris to the White House, she'll fight for our freedom to vote, our reproductive freedoms, and our freedom to thrive. In the spirit of good trouble, Georgia cast 123 votes for the next president of the United States, Kamala Harris.
Something wonderfully magical is in the air, isn't it? Yeah. You know, we're feeling it here in this arena, but it's spreading all across this country we love. A familiar feeling that's been buried too deep for far too long. You know what I'm talking about. It's the contagious power of hope. The anticipation, the energy, the exhilaration of once again being on the cusp of a brighter day. The chance to vanquish the demons of fear, division, and hate that have consumed us and continue pursuing the unfinished promise of this great nation, the dream that our parents and grandparents fought and died and sacrificed for. America, Hope is making a comeback. Yeah. To be honest, I am realizing that until recently, I have mourned the dimming of that hope. And maybe you've experienced the same feelings. Is that deep pit in my stomach, a palpable sense of dread about the future. And for me, that mourning has also been mixed with my own personal grief. The last time I was here in my hometown was to memorialize my mother, the woman who showed me the meaning of hard work and humility and decency, the woman who set my moral compass high and showed me the power of my own voice. Folks, I still feel her loss so profoundly. I wasn't even sure if I'd be steady enough to stand before you tonight, but my heart compelled me to be here because of the sense of duty that I feel to honor her memory and to remind us all not to squander the sacrifices our elders made to give us a better future. You see, my mom, in her steady, quiet way, lived out that striving sense of hope every single day of her life. She believed that all children, all people have value, that anyone can succeed if given the opportunity. She and my father didn't aspire to be wealthy. In fact, they were suspicious of folks who took more than they needed. They understood that it wasn't enough for their kids to thrive if everyone else around us was drowning. So my mother volunteered at the local school. She always looked out for the other kids on the block. She was glad to do the thankless, unglamorous work that for generations has strengthened the fabric of this nation. The belief that if you do unto others, if you love thy neighbor, if you work and scrape and sacrifice, it will pay off. If not for you, then maybe for your children or your grandchildren. You see, those values have been passed on through family farms and factory towns, through tree-lined streets and crowded tenements, through prayer groups and National Guard units and social studies classrooms. Those were the values my mother poured into me until her very last breath. Kamala Harris and I built our lives on those same foundational values. Even though our mothers grew up an ocean apart, they shared the same belief in the promise of this country. That's why her mother moved here from India at 19. It's why she taught Kamala about justice, about the obligation to lift others up, about our responsibility to give more than we take. She'd often tell her daughter, "Don't sit around and complain about things, do something." So, with that voice in her head, Kamala went out and she worked hard in school, graduating from an HBCU, earning her law degree at a state school. And then she went on to work for the people, fighting to hold lawbreakers accountable, strengthening the rule of law, fighting to get folks better wages, cheaper prescription drugs, a good education, decent health care, child care, elder care. From a middle-class household, Kamala worked her way up to become Vice President of the United States of America. My girl, Kamala Harris, is more than ready for this moment. She is one of the most qualified people ever to seek the office of the presidency. And she is one of the most dignified. A tribute to her mother, to my mother, and to your mother too. The embodiment of the stories we tell ourselves about this country. Her story is your story. It's my story. It's the story of the vast majority of Americans trying to build a better life. For years, Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hardworking, highly educated, successful people who happen to be black.
Yes!
Wait. I want to know. Who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
Oh! Yes! Yes!
Look, it's his same old con. His same old con. Doubling down on ugly, misogynistic, racist lies as a substitute for real ideas and solutions that will actually make people's lives better. We cannot be our own worst enemies. No. See, because the minute something goes wrong, the minute a lie takes hold, folks, we cannot start wringing our hands. We cannot get a Goldilocks complex about whether everything is just right. And we cannot indulge our anxieties about whether this country will elect someone like Kamala instead of doing everything we can to get someone like Kamala elected.
Yes, exactly.
And Tim, they have lived amazing lives. And I am confident that they will lead with compassion, inclusion, and grace. But they are still only human. They are not perfect. And like all of us, they will make mistakes. But luckily, y'all, this is not just on them. No, this is up to us, all of us, to be the solution that we seek. It's up to all of us to be the antidote to the darkness and division. Look, I don't care how you identify politically, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, or none of the above. This is our time to stand up for what we know in our hearts is right. To stand up, not just for our basic freedoms, but for decency and humanity, for basic respect, dignity, and empathy, for the values at the very foundation of this democracy. It's up to us to remember what Kamala's mother told her. Don't just sit around and complain, do something. So if they lie about her, and they will, we've got to do something. If we see a bad poll, and we got to put down that phone and do something. If we start feeling tired, if we start feeling that dread creeping back in, we got to pick ourselves up, throw water on our face, and what?
Now, one of the things that I've noticed over my increasingly long life, that a presidential election is unique in several ways. First of all, it's the greatest job interview for the greatest job in the world. Secondly, The Constitution says we, the people, get to do the hiring. And the third thing is that every 4 years, we get to change the requirements for the job. So here's what I'm thinking, because I try to apply this in every election. Will this president take us backward or forward? Will this president give our kids a brighter future? Depends. Will this president bring us together or tear us apart? Will the president increase the peace, security, and stability and freedom that we enjoy and extend it to others as we can? We, the people, we have to make a decision about these kind of questions. But we got an election to win. And remember, we've got a guy that's pretty good at what he does. Donald Trump has been a paragon of consistency. He's still dividing, he's still blaming, he's still belittling other people. He creates chaos, and then he sort of curates it as if it were precious art. Let me say, not a single day goes by, even though I've been gone for well over 23 years from the White House, not a day goes by that I don't thank the Lord for the chance I had to serve and what it meant. I mean, look, what does her opponent do with his voice? He mostly talks about himself, right? So the next time you hear him, don't count the lies. Count the eyes. Count the eyes. His vendettas, his vengeance, his complaints, his conspiracies. He's like one of those tenors opening up before he walks out on stage, like I did, trying to get his lungs open by singing, me, 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 me. When Kamala Harris is president, every day will begin with you, 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 you.
You know this is true. The decency and respect are on the ballot in 2024.
Yes, yes.
And just plain common sense. Common sense tells you that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz can give us decency and respect. They're the ones that give it to us.
And I want to tell you a story about one of the first times I ever met her. She wasn't Madam Vice President then. She was my senator. And we were filming a video where she came to my home to cook dosas, a South Indian dish. Yes. It's not every day that a senator comes over, and I was pretty nervous. But when she arrived, we immediately hit it off. We talked about the love we have for our moms, who had both passed away from cancer. Both of our mothers were immigrants from India who came to America and committed their lives to serving others. My mother, Swati, became an OBGYN. Thank you. Kamala's mother, Shyamala, became a scientist with a PhD who dedicated her life to trying to find a cure for cancer. And after speaking to Kamala, it was clear to me that Shyamala had passed down the same optimism and fearlessness to her daughter. But the thing I remember the most about the vice president is that Kamala Harris can cook. Guys, she was so much better than me. But she also knew that my family was watching. So, as she gently corrected my sloppy dosa making, she was complimenting me every step of the way, making sure that my daughter Kit heard how good of a cook I am.
So there I was, a 40-something high school teacher with little kids, zero political experience, and no money, running in a deep red district. But you know what? Never underestimate a public school teacher. Never. I represented my neighbors in Congress for 12 years, and I learned an awful lot. I learned how to work across the aisle on issues like growing the rural economies and taking care of veterans. And I learned how to compromise without compromising my values. Then I came back to serve as governor, and we got right to work, making a difference in our neighbors' lives. We cut taxes for the middle class. We passed paid family and medical leave. We invested in fighting crime and affordable housing. We cut the cost of prescription drugs and helped people escape the kind of medical debt that nearly sank my family. I know guns. I'm a veteran. I'm a hunter. And I was a better shot than most Republicans in Congress, and I got the trophies to prove it. But I'm also a dad. I believe in the Second Amendment, but I also believe our first responsibility is to keep our kids safe. That's what this is all about. The responsibility we have to our kids, to each other, and to the future that we're building together, in which everyone is free to build the kind of life they want. But not everyone has that same sense of responsibility. Some folks just don't understand what it takes to be a good neighbor. Take Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Their Project 2025 will make things much, much harder for people who are just trying to live their lives. They spent a lot of time pretending they know nothing about this. But look, I coached high school football long enough to know, and trust me on this, when somebody takes the time to draw up a playbook, they're going to use it. And boy, do we have the right team. Kamala Harris is tough. Kamala Harris is experienced, and Kamala Harris is ready. Our job for everyone watching is to get in the trenches and do the blocking and tackling. 1 inch at a time, 1 yard at a time, 1 phone call at a time, 1 door knock at a time, 1 $5 donation at a time. Look, we got 76 days. That's nothing. There'll be time to sleep when you're dead. We're going to leave it on the field. That's how we'll keep moving forward. That's how we'll turn the page on Donald Trump. That's how we'll build a country where workers come first. Healthcare and housing are human rights. And the government stays the hell out of your bedroom.
And ladies and gentlemen, as you watch this with me while I'm drinking this delicious wine, the Democratic National Convention was outstanding, great speech. I advise you to go on YouTube, and there's a whole 4 days available for you to watch. I just play one thing that I have to play Michelle Obama, ladies and gents. This election is very, very, very serious, ladies and gents. You make sure that you do your research, all right? If you don't believe what I say, if you do not watch the DNC, you owe it to yourself to do your research and see the platform of both parties. Kamala Harris agenda and Kamala Harris and Wall's agenda, and Trump and Shady Vance agenda, ladies and gents. And which ones benefit yourself, your people, and which benefits you're going to be. Like I say, like Bill Clinton say, Trump's all about me, and Kamala is all about you, but I would say we the people. So that's what the video was all about, ladies and gents. Please get involved, because you cannot complain if the shit hit the fan and goes south. If you do not participate, if you do not do everything that you can, pick yourself up and get with your family, your friends involved, and vote for Kamala Harris and all Democrats from top to bottom. Because once again, I said that before, it's not just elect Kamala Harris. It's they need to win the House again and keep the Senate in order for her to have the support and the vote that she needs to have her agenda that benefit everybody. So once again, listen, this is your boy Casanova. Please be safe, be kind, and be blessed. And I see you next Saturday. Salute. And if you like the work that I do, I appreciate if you click on the like button and click on the subscribe button, and also share all my videos with everybody that you know. Holla!
Sucker rappers get lost. Coming from the bottom, moving straight to the top. Coming with the pull up for the #1 spot. Pushing my rap like a pusher on the block. Holding my down, sucker rappers get lost. Coming from the bottom, moving straight to the top. Coming with the pull up for the #1 spot. Pushing my rap like a pusher on the block. Holding my down, sucker rappers get lost. Coming from the bottom, moving straight to the top. Coming with the pull up for the #1 spot. Pushing my rap like a pusher on the block. Holding my down, sucker rappers get lost. Coming from the bottom, moving straight to the top. Coming with the pull up for the #1 spot. Pushing my rap like a pusher on the block. Holding my down, sucker rappers get lost. Coming from the bottom, moving straight to the top. Coming with